Hi, I'm Teresa and welcome to my channel. I just thought that since Trans Visibility Day is coming up on the 31st of March, a couple days after I upload this, it would be the absolute perfect time to spotlight some of my favourite books by trans authors. And also just a couple of my TBR because I couldn't resist. There's so many amazing trans releases next year and I had to narrow it right down for this video, so definitely check out my Queer 2021 releases video if you want to see more, just by the way. Anyway, yes, let's just get started. The first book I want to talk about is A Dark and Hollow Star by Ashley Shuttleworth. This one is a new favourite of mine after reading it earlier this month, or last month. Time isn't real. So this follows 4 point of views in this kind of urban fantasy world where the Fae courts are real. And so you follow Arlo, who is half Fae, and her Fae side is part of the royal side, the Unseelie Spring Court, and this is like the ruling court, and I'm not going to get into all the world building because like there's a lot and I love it, but there's a lot. And because she is half born and iron blood, this means that she's just not quite as respected in the Fae community, not taken seriously. They really only care about pure-blooded Fae. And when some really gruesome ritualistic murders start happening to Ironborns, nobody really seems to care. Except, of course, Arlo and our three other main characters. We've got Nausicaa, who is an ex-Fury. She's very cool, just mortal badass. Look at her. Love her. She's not really that interested by the murders. She's more interested in who's doing them because she thinks they could be a good ally because she likes messing things up and they seem to be doing it very well. And you also follow Vean and Aurelian. So this is the prince of the Seelie Summer Court and his kind of bodyguard almost. You've got the prince bodyguard trope, amazing. And they also really care, and you find out why for their own reasons. And these four teenagers are all kind of thrust together to solve the crime since no one else seems bothered. It's this amazing urban fantasy world, amazing world building. I love the characters, they have such natural dynamics and humour. Loved it all. There are trans characters, you've got a gender fluid character, and it's all amazing. None of the main characters are trans, but of course the author is. Ashley is gender fluid and uses they them pronouns, and I'm so excited to read more from them, particularly the sequel to this. I'm so excited to see how the story progresses. I think it might be a duology, so maybe how it wraps up as well. Don't quote me on that though, I'm not certain. And I just love this one so much. I so highly recommend it. I'll leave my review link down below, same with some of the other books here. And I really recommend you check them out because I can probably talk about them a lot more eloquently there. The next book I want to talk about is Boyfriend Material by Alexis Hall. So again, this is another one that has a trans author but not trans main characters. Alexis Hall is genderqueer and uses he, him pronouns. And so this is a fake dating romance. It takes place in London and it's so much fun. You follow Luke, who is a bit of a disaster gay, and after some scandals in the press because he's got famous parents, he has to fake date a good gay to prove to the sponsors of the charity he works at that he's not a complete disaster, he's not the wrong type of gay. And so he dates the very uptight, very good gay Oliver, and they have such fun dynamics, such a fun relationship. I really loved watching them get to know each other, kind of stumble around being so different, and then stumbling around maybe having some real feelings in a fake relationship. It's just so much fun. I really enjoyed it. I particularly loved the kind of Luke as a person, as a character, and his development throughout the book and addressing some of the trauma he has, and that was all just done so well, but in this really fun rom-com fake dating storyline, and it just all works so well together, and I really enjoyed it. Absolutely flew through it, and I highly recommend. Next up I want to talk about Casey McKiston, one of my absolute favorite authors. They use he, she, and they pronouns, any pronouns, so I'll probably use a mix to refer to her. And yeah, so first up is probably his most well-known book, and that's Red, White, and Royal Blue. I love this book so much. It's so good. Absolutely, in my opinion, deserves the hype. I imagine you've heard of it, but if you've not, this follows a main character called Alex, and he is the first son of the United States, the president's the president's son, sorry. I'm getting confused because his mother is president. We've got a female president, and it's so cool. Love it so much, this kind of political aspect. And he's got a bit of a kind of rivalry going on with the Prince of the UK, Henry. And at Henry's brother's wedding, they kind of get into a bit of a spat. A wedding cake is destroyed, and they have a big PR scandal to fix. And so to do this, they have to become fake friends and have some nice PR shots of them being good pals. And of course, this friendship begins to develop into something real, and you meet a found family. You've got such amazing character dynamics, such amazing romance. Casey McKiston is such a talented author for really authentic characters and humor, and I just love them all so much. They're so cool. And oh, it's amazing. You've definitely got politics if that's something that interests you, but basically just rivals to lovers. Not fake dating, but fake friending almost. Oh, so damn good. Also addresses mental health very well, and some of obviously the monarchy's issues and colonialism and such, though very lightly, I will say. And it's overall just so heartwarming, such a feel-good read. Love it a lot. And next up is Casey's new release, One Last Stop. This comes out in June, and I am so hyped for everyone else to be able to read it and hopefully love it as much as I do. I just love it so much. I have a full review on my channel, which I'll also link, as well as my written one. Definitely recommend you watch it. It's spoiler free, and I talk about it a lot better than I probably will be here, because I had just read it and I was just fresh off the oh my god, I love it so much kind of hype on it. But this follows a main character called August who moves to New York for a kind of fresh start, and we follow her getting a job, meeting her roommates who are all a bit weird, but they become a found family. Just a perfect queer found family. Casey does it so well. And you also meet Jane. So August, of course, ends up on the subway. This is where she meets Jane. And we discover through their kind of flirting on the subway and Jane always seeming to be there when August gets on, that Jane is stuck there. She's been displaced from the 1970s and stuck on the Q train. And so August, being a bit of a mystery solver, goes to help Jane sort her problem, and of course some feelings develop, and it's so much fun. I love this so much. Romance is incredible, characters incredible, just same with Red, White and Royal Blue. Casey does characters so good, so authentic, so much depth. I love it so much. So damn fun, funny as well. Casey's humor in books, there's not that many authors that'll get me to actually laugh, like that are actually funny, and Casey is definitely one of them. And oh, just incredible. Love it so much. It also tackles kind of loneliness and not finding your place and as a young adult, and I thought this was done so well, and it's something that was really comforting to me, something that really hit home with me, and I think that's going to be the same for an awful lot of people. I think it's just something that very much rings true, and I'm just beyond excited for this to release so more people can read it and love it. Ugh, I love it. Do it for my butch lesbian, Jane Sue. I love her so much. Next up we've got I Wish You All the Best by Mason Deaver. So now this is a book with a trans main character, and I think the next couple are as well. I also just adored this one. Absolutely flew through it almost one sitting. The best feeling. So this follows Ben, who is non-binary, and when they come out to their parents, they don't take it very well, and Ben ends up kicked out. So they go and live with their estranged sister, and you really just follow them settling in at a new school, accepting their self, dealing with mental health, and so many positive things as well, such as this cutie right here. And I just love this book so much. I think it's very important for trans readers, particularly non-binary ones, and I'm very excited to see what Mason writes next. Actually, that goes for all of these authors. I love them all. Really want to look into either their backlist or into their new books. And yes, this is just such an incredible book. It has been a while since I've read it, so I can't remember exactly, so I'm sorry if I'm being a bit vague. I don't want to get things wrong. Something I really remember loving about it though was Ben being really artistic and drawing lots and painting and really using art as a medium to connect with himself and find himself, and that was so sweet to read, and I just really loved watching them grow to love themselves and accept the love of others, and oh, it's so positive, so cute. Highly recommend. Love it. Next up is Felix Ever After by Case and Calendar. So another one I just adored. I read this one over summer and it's just the perfect summer read. Definitely have it on your Pride TBR if you've not read it yet. Incredible. So this follows Felix, who lives in New York, and he's an art student. Well, no, he's a high school student going to be applying to be an art student, and over the summer he's attending kind of summer course to practice his skills, and it's kind of quite competitive and everything. Anyway, one day he goes to school and, well, I don't even know if it's school. I don't understand. I don't think we have these things in Scotland. I don't know what they are. But he goes there anyway, and someone has posted lots of pictures of him pre-transition and alongside his dead name, just in the big grand hallway where everyone goes and everyone sees it. And so you follow a bit of a mystery of him trying to figure out who that was and dealing with it and repercussions of it. And this involves him to kind of like slightly catfish someone, and that's quite a fun relationship to explore as well because they do end up growing closer. And you've also got his friend who's just the greatest. I love him so much, and I just love the love that him and Felix have for each other. This kind of unflinching, completely supportive love. Amazing. And you also follow Felix questioning his identity a bit, because at the beginning of the book he's quite happily out as a trans guy, but he's not feeling completely that label fits, and kind of navigating maybe that not being entirely right, not just quite perfect, and also just some of the difficulties that come with being trans, being black, being, I'm not sure if it's specified, but he's definitely not straight either. We'll say a Killian, and it's just such an important book, but it's also incredibly fun. I adore it, honestly. It's just so damn good. Again, this is another one I read in like a day. It's amazing, 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 amazing friendships. Just love it so much. Definitely highly recommend this one. Next up we've got Cemetery Boys by Aidan Thomas, and now this is one I think that most of you will have heard of because it has absolutely just taken the book community by storm recently, and I couldn't be more excited about this. You know, a trans book hitting the New York Times bestseller list, all of that is incredible. So this follows Yadriel, who is a brujo, and he is determined to prove this when his family aren't willing to let him do the brujo ceremony because he is trans, and they don't think that the kind of bruje laws isn't the right word, but the kind of magic and traditions, they don't think that that will work with Yadriel being trans. They think he should do the ceremony for his assigned sex at birth. And yeah, if he does it himself in secret, it works, but he accidentally summons a ghost of the bad boy at his school and can't get rid of him. So this sets him, his cousin Maritza, and Julian, this bad boy, off on this journey to figure out how Julian died. And it's so much fun, genuinely just so positive, so joyful. I loved the Latina community they've got, the Bruje magic system, all of that, and the friendship and the relationship between our main three characters. Amazing. You just got such fun character dynamics, such fun relationships. Love it. It's so amazingly good. It's another one I flew through. I did not want to put it down, but I was very busy with uni, but kind of just went, right, we're gonna fall behind. I'm just gonna sit and read this. And it was worth it because it was so damn good and just full of trans joy, and that's what we really need in the world. And I would highly recommend this one if you've not picked it up yet. It is completely worth the hype, and I cannot wait to read Aidan Thomas's new book. It just released yesterday at the time of filming, so I've been seeing so much hype for it and I really want to read it too. So next up is the final book in the books I've read section, and that is The Skate Racers by Hannah Abigail Clark. So I love this one. It's one of my absolute favorites. So good. Cannot wait for the sequel this year. This is a kind of, I suppose it's paranormal, is it? Because you follow a witch. So you follow Sideways Pike, a teenage lesbian witch, as she befriends the popular girls at school, and they begin forming a wee coven, and oh my god, the friendships, the relationship between the girls, so damn good. Some of my absolute favourite relationships in a book. Best friend group by far. Love them so much. They're just so mercilessly supportive of each other. Such love for each other, and love so much this kind of girl power we've got going on. Love. Yes, anyway, they begin forming this coven, and they're also dealing with some witch hunters and just navigating this new power, this new friendship, and I'm really excited to see what comes next for them, because like some things happen at the end, and oh my goodness, just so good. I love Sideways' narration and her as a main character. It's so good, so perfect. The writing style is like this amazing mix of just gothic, gorgeous writing, but in a teenage voice, and it works so well. It's just such a unique voice, and I really enjoyed reading that. And oh god, just the girl power, the upending the popular mean girl trope, all of that done so well. Genuinely one of my favourites. Highly recommend. I'm saying that about all of them, but all of these books are amazing, so just take from that trans authors are fucking fantastic and you should be reading from them year round, not just when J.K. Rowling does something stupid. Anyway, highly recommend. Definitely pick it up. So next up, I've got 3 books on my TBR by trans authors that I really cannot wait to read. 2 of them aren't yet out, but like, please forgive me because they sound so good. First up is The Fever King by Victoria Lee, and I'm so hyped to read some of his books. So hyped. I really want to read them, and especially their new release as well, A Lesson in Vengeance, but I'm going to talk about The Fever King. So this is the first in a sci-fi thriller duology, and it follows a main character called Gnome. He's the sole survivor of a virus that killed his family and left him as a technopath, able to control technology. The Minister of Defense is of course very interested in his power, and Gnome is thrust in among the kind of magical elite of this futuristic America. However, as the son of undocumented immigrants in a nation that routinely viciously deports refugees, Gnome plots to use his power against the government. But then he meets the minister's son, cruel, dangerous, and achingly beautiful, and the way forward just becomes less clear. And I am so hyped. I have heard such good things. I need to just hurry up and read it. It sounds so damn good, and I'm so invested already in some of the characters just from things I've heard about them, and I just need to pick it up very soon. Next up is The Witch King by H.E. Edgman. So this is a gay and trans The Cruel Prince. Does that not sell you enough? If not, so this follows a trans witch who must choose between marrying the fave prince he once loved or letting their kingdom crumble to secure his own freedom. And it's recommended if you're into gay betrothals, friends to enemies to lovers, grumpy sunshine duos, monstrous fae, queer found family, and trans kids fighting the fuck back. And I'm into all of those things, so I'm very excited for this one. I'm really loving this kind of resurgence we've got going on of fae and making them extremely queer, like with A Dark and Hollow Star, and now with The Witch King as well. It's going to be so good, so much fun. Cannot wait to read it. And the final book I want to talk about is Meet Cute Diary by Emery Lee. So this follows a trans teen who's writing about a bunch of trans happily ever afters on his blog. The only problem, they're all fake. And when a troll exposes the blog as fiction, Noah's only option is to convince everyone the stories are true by fake dating Drew and writing his own happily ever after. And this book sounds so sweet, so fun, just absolute perfect rom-com, and I'm so excited. It's gonna be fun and heartwarming and extremely queer. Just listen to how queer this cast is. A trans and bi main character, non-binary ace, lesbian side characters, so much. Got lots of racial diversity as well. Your main character's triracial. It's gonna be so damn good. It's also got some fun tropes like fake dating, meet cutes, hate to love, forced proximity, happily ever after, and it's also got some platonic love, siblings, gender exploration, dad jokes, and a coffee shop aesthetic. And I could not be more hyped. The author's done a few threads on Twitter that have just got me beyond hyped, like talking about some of the rep in it and what that means to them and all of that, and so damn hyped. This is going to be so good. I've already read such good reviews for it, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it. It comes out pretty soon, so definitely pre-order it. And yes, that has been some books by trans authors you should read, and I hope you have enjoyed. I've really enjoyed making this video and talking about these authors because these are really some of my favourite books and some of the books I'm most excited about, of course. And it honestly just shows how superior trans authors are. Like, so many of my favourites are written by trans authors, and just please remember to support them, even if they're not writing about trans characters. Like, I know there's been some controversy around Aidan Thomas's new book not being trans or queer, but always remember to support trans authors regardless of what they're writing, unless it's like very problematic or something. Like, that's not a blanket statement. But yes, I hope you have enjoyed. I hope you found a book you want to read. As always, I will have Goodreads links for all of these in description, links to reviews where I can, and I will have my social media if you want to keep up with me elsewhere, a bookshop link if you fancy buying any of these books, or just in general and supporting me and an independent bookstore. And yes, thank you very, very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you with another video soon.